come hang out with me as if you're just rolling with me and one of my friends, and we're just shooting the shit, talking about how being some type of creative entrepreneur has changed us. I want to share all those secrets with y'all, and I want you to find something that speaks to you in one of these episodes, if not all of them. Solo episode for QTXO. What is QTXO? What is QTXO? You may have heard me use this term for the past several years during Twitch, on YouTube. QTXO is quality time with Jasmine Solano. It is my effort to spend quality time with people that I want to spend quality time with, people that I admire, people I find interesting, people that have a story, people that shine light on topics that need more exposure. I love talking to people. I love asking questions. I love learning about why people are how they are, why people make decisions that change their lives, why they take paths that are unconventional. I love asking the why. I've been a host, whether on the radio, at live events, panel talks, digital radio, for a very long time. I wanted to bring back this show, especially this year in 2025, when I know that we need to be in conversation with each other, and we need to listen to conversations that give us some strength, give us motivation, give us some fuel in our fires. So I'm very excited to bring you along to the new season of QTXO. QTXO is my YouTube series, Quality Time with Jasmine Solano, where I get to interview whoever I want, goddammit. And that includes creatives, musicians, tech founders, fashion designers, rappers, singers, dancers, matcha makers. No, not yet. We get to hang out and do fun activities while I ask them very deep questions about their life. And when you come and hang out with me, we don't need to just sit on a couch and have it be a clinical interview. Like, let's go do something fun. Let's go do something silly. Let's, walk around South by Southwest on the streets singing. Let's play Jenga in the middle of the park. Let's try to play some basketball looking at the New York City skyline. Like, show me your community center. Like, I want to be in the field. I want to be in real life with people that I admire, and I want to bring you along with me as we talk about the paths that they've chosen, be it unconventional, be it wild, be it hard, be it, filled with obstacles and struggles. I want to share these stories that maybe you haven't heard, that I think you should know about, and I think will change your life in any form, from a small to a major way. I'm a pretty optimistic bitch, okay? I definitely get that from my father, and I really do believe in people and humanity at its core. I've traveled the world enough. I've met enough people. I have been in the most random situations and scenarios. I've been in spaces that are completely, corporate and elitist. I've been in spaces that are underground and third world. I have really studied humanity my whole life, just as a curious person, especially as a DJ, which I've always said is like being a musical anthropologist. And I will say that even when life kind of seems like it's caving in on you, I really do believe you have to look towards the light. And I have no problem being a vessel of light. That doesn't mean I'm positive all the time. It doesn't mean that I don't struggle with doubt. I subscribe to a life devoted to finding the light. And I get so charged up when I meet other people that have that same philosophy. And not only do they have that philosophy, but they've applied it to whatever career, craft, passion, purpose that they have in this life. And those stories need to be told more. We are fed constantly what's going wrong in this world, and it's important to stay informed, always. But are we fed enough stories that we see ourselves in, that we see the people we love in, that give us little sparks of ideas of what might resonate with us that we are not doing in our lives, that we could be doing more of? Give us examples of a whole new way of living that you never thought was possible, but maybe something in you knew that it could be. You know, my vehicles in this life have been music, community, culture, sport. But the core of everything that I do, no matter what the vehicle, is really connection, community, love. And when I talk to people and dive deep into why they are how they are and why they have done what they have done, you just find the most amazing lessons. And life is one big motherfucking lesson, okay? We don't necessarily find answers, we find lessons. And if you're okay being curious about what the lesson is over and over and over, you'll be okay in this marathon of life. And with QTXO, I just find the people that we talk to so special and fun and unique that it should spark something in your soul. If I were to give you any advice to further the quality time in your life, what does that even mean? Only you can really determine if your time is of quality. How do you determine that? 1, be very present and be somewhat detached. If you can be so present and not attached to whatever's happening or how you want it to happen, what the outcome should be. If you can allow yourself to be so free in that moment that whatever comes of the scenario comes and is a lesson and might be great, might be a little weird, it doesn't matter. Bringing more quality time into your life really starts with that presence. Be here now. Be here right now. Observe what's going on as if you're zoomed out of your own head. Allow the pieces to fall as they may. Observe what they are. Reflect. After you've been present, reflect. Reflect to yourself. Reflect to your best friends. Reflect on how you feel. Brings a little more quality to it. It's more or less slowing down the moments and adding a lot of presence to your life that will add a lot of quality to your time. Digital community and IRL community are different. They're different. As someone who lived on Twitch for several years in the pandemic with my platform Clubhouse Global, and we fostered so much community online, and it was incredible. The amount of people that came together digitally in all of our shows, in our Discord, in our chat rooms was unmatched. And people that find each other on all the social platforms and that help relate to each other with very hard and complex life circumstances, I don't want to ever discredit that, because digital community is very real, especially as a means for people to reach each other that otherwise couldn't be in close physical proximity. However, nothing can replace IRL community. Nothing can replace a human-to-human connection in person. And you gotta have a healthy mix of both. I would even argue you need more IRL connection than digital. And if you're gonna use the digital community to then organize more IRL meetups, amazing. I feel like we do that all the time by promoting our lives and ourselves through social media. But we have to use it as a tool, not as the only means of connection. Because it will not do what you think it's gonna do. It will have a sense of limitation. I promise you that. It's a great Kickstarter. It's a great catalyst. It's a great means to find your tribe, but you have to get together in real life. You have to. I'm on the road all the time. I've sort of joked about how 2025, I'm living 3 different lives in LA, New York, and outside of Philly. And I've had to shift my life a bit. And the thing that has saved me is my community. I lost my father last year in 2024 unexpectedly. He was my hero, my guru, my calm in the middle of any storm. He was the coolest guy on the block. And to have such a unexpected life shift, it was one of the first times that I had to ask for help from my community and my friends. And the way they showed up was, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. And so you kind of realize that the more you pour into your relationships, and there's tiers of relationships, there's your inner circle, there's the friends you catch up with every couple months, there's colleagues that you really love, there's people that you might run into once a year, but it's all love, okay? There's tiers of relationships and community. But the more you pour in to those relationships, and you can choose how much you want to pour into those tiers, the more you will receive it back. And that was the biggest lesson I learned from my father, who kept friendships with hundreds of people for about 50 years. And I saw what that did for his life and for his death, to be honest. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This is how I've pretty much acted my whole life. I also am an extrovert. I know this is not as easy for introverts, but I love people. I love walking into a brand new room and just seeing who's there and seeing who's got something to offer in terms of like a different perspective or a great story or a lesson that maybe I've never learned before. So I can't stress enough how your relationships define your life. Who you keep around you determines the quality of your life. And if you find good people, hold on to them tight and become a village, become your own tribe, look out for each other, pour into each other, be honest with each other. And that will save your life when you need it. It really helps. And this is why I promote traveling. This is why we're traveling everywhere to talk to everyone on QTXO and hear all these different stories from people from all around the world, right? When you put yourself into situations and hear stories that you understand the world is bigger than you, it actually makes you feel better. The pressure is like off. And knowing that you can plant a seed that will reap a tree somewhere has to be the point. It almost is like you have to fall in love with the journey. You know, when people talk about falling in love with the journey versus falling in love with the reward. If the journey is so fun, and if the journey is something that there's no way you cannot do it. Like you just feel like you're gonna die if you don't go build this thing, then you'll be okay with not knowing what the reward is gonna be. And I recommend like tapping into a life of service in that way, because what it does for the pressure that you put on yourself to accomplish. And if you don't accomplish, you're not worthy. And the identity politics that we put on ourselves for being what we do. So much pressure. And I'm guilty of it. Are you kidding me? This show is Quality Time with Jasmine Solano. It's all about me. But the point is, I've built a platform, for so many years that I have to use it for what I believe could be good for the world. If you are experiencing cold feet with a very big idea that you have, and I'm sure you've probably seen clips on this all over TikTok. I'm not gonna be the first person to answer this, but building a house takes one brick at a time. You have to be able to build one step at a time. Every day is one step at a time. Sometimes life comes down to 1 hour at a time. I just got to make it to the next hour. Just got to make it to the next hour. I got to make it to the next day. A big idea usually gets so intimidating because you don't know what steps A through G are going to look like. You don't know how hard they're going to be. You still have to think that through. That's okay. I think it's actually great that you're having the big idea. That's actually the point. Have the fucking big idea. Have it be as big as you possibly can imagine. have a radical imagination in that brain of yours. Think of something totally wild. You know why? Those are the people that change the future. If you look back to 100 years ago, we are doing so many things that the general population would have thought of as crazy, ludicrous, stupid, too big of an idea. And now it's normalcy. This is how evolution carries on, by people having radical big ideas. So first off, don't quiet that part of yourself, because that is exactly what we need. And number 2, figure out how to take step 1. That's it. Then figure out how to take step 2. Then step 3. Break it down into smaller steps that you do one at a time. And as you take a step, you're going to learn a lot. And then you might take a step in this direction and learn a lot, and take another step in this direction. And it'll eventually get you closer to that big idea. And you don't know, at step 10, you may be like, I think I want to reformat this idea. So break everything down into small steps, one at a time. When we think about the things that influenced us so much that they changed our lives, we often look to our teenage self, right? Like the hormones are raging, you're figuring out things for the first time, like you're exposed to music and things for the first time. Everything just hits harder and it sticks with you forever. It really does. The thing that really comes to mind is like Def Poetry Jam and kind of this era of spoken word poetry that was raw and political and dangerous and new. I feel like that era really allowed me to be free with my voice and gave me permission to kind of dive into the depths of whatever I was feeling and let it out on stage. You know, before I started DJing, I was performing in high school at open mics. Like I was singing and I was rapping and I was doing spoken word, and I had my friends come and perform with me, and they would beatbox and one would be on the drums, and we'd come up with this whole medley of a show of expression. And that allowed me to experiment with the type of performer I wanted to be. And it allowed me to be very free on stage and get all of my emotions out. I think that gave me the confidence to then start DJing at age 17, get on the radio at my college, age 17, and build and build and build from there. I would say that time period definitely influenced my life. The best way you pivot is you detach. You got to learn a little bit of like Zen Buddhism in your life. Just a little bit. Just scratch the surface. Got to detach, and you got to go get excited about something else, because circumstances, external circumstances, are always going to get in the way of your plans. I promise you. That's like one of the things that's guaranteed in life besides death, okay? External circumstances are going to fuck up your plans. You have to be agile and flexible and detached mentally and emotionally, so that when things happen beyond your control and you need to pivot, you have mastery. You have self-mastery enough to do that. And this is someone who gets very attached to my projects and goals and whatnot. But every 3 years, the world is different. The market is different. The culture is different. That's evolution. Nothing's going to stay the same. And if you can get excited about what else you could do that you didn't know you could do, if you get excited about seeing what else is inside of you that can result in a brand new company, a brand new way of living, a brand new album, a brand new poem, whatever it is, that's the key. Being detached and just go get excited about something else. It's like a breakup. You know what I mean? Like, allow yourself to mourn whatever idea you thought you had of your life. Zoom out, detach, and go find something else that really excites you. Isn't that great advice for a breakup? Honor and devotion. I've been talking about so much these past couple years. Why? When you have honor as part of your character, you take yourself seriously. You take your words seriously. You take your actions seriously. Those are the type of people that are reliable, dependable, honest, true. Again, those are the people I want to keep around me all the time. Devotion. I like seeing people be devoted to something that is unwavering. Doesn't matter what that is. That could be your art, your faith, your spouse, your children, your, writing. I love seeing devotion that is unwavering because it shows that self-mastery. It shows that you have something like deep in your soul that is your North Star. And that's what leads you to some amazing path that you've been on because you've been unwavering in your devotion to something. Those values I really cherish, and I don't see as much as I used to. And so when I find those people, I'm like, you should be on my YouTube show. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of QTXO. Please subscribe to the YouTube so you don't miss an episode, and you can follow along this whole year and beyond as we bring you more and more interviews that fill your soul. Thank you.